Hey, Careblazers. In about 8 minutes, I'm going to go live here talking about dementia caregiver stress, and I'm very excited. So just bear with me, and yeah, we'll get started as soon as it's 11 a.m. Hello, thank you for joining. We're going to get started here in about 6 minutes. I want to make sure everybody has time to join, and I'm going to send one last email out. I'm not sure a reminder email was sent out. For those of you who are here, welcome. I'm very excited. There is a chat feature off to the side. You're welcome to use that throughout the event to ask your questions and just to say hello. I am curious if any of you are watching right now, did you get a reminder email that said, here's the link? It would have come out about 5 minutes ago. Let me know. Thank you for letting me know that you did not get the email. I'm actually going to then send out a reminder right now. I appreciate you guys letting me know. Also, not seeing all the chat functions. Can you guys hear me okay? I see. Okay. Hi, Chuck. Hi, Barbara. Hi, Laura. Yep, loud and clear. Hi, Kit. All right, let me go ahead and just send this last minute email. We've got about 2 minutes. I'm sure there's people wondering what the login is, and I don't know why that reminder email did not go out. You just do that. How are you guys doing today? It's Monday. It happens to be a federal holiday, Martin Luther King Day. All right, I'm about to hit that send button. That means all of you guys are going to get another email. I apologize. Okay. Let me get ready here. Feeling a little early out here on the left coast. On the left coast. What's that, Kit? Barbara, you're from Pittsburgh. I'm from Pittsburgh. I moved from Pittsburgh to Arizona. How long ago? 3 years ago now. I love Pittsburgh. It's amazing. I could not take the weather anymore. So I had to move back to Arizona, but I definitely miss Pittsburgh. Yes, go Steelers. I'm very sad they did not make the playoffs. I don't know what happened there at the end. They fell apart. But yeah. So hello, Kit. Yes, I'm on the West Coast too. I'm in Phoenix. My husband is EWJ Tri right there. He says we love Pittsburgh, but not 5 degrees. Yes, exactly. Okay, guys. So it is 9 o'clock. I'm going to go ahead and get started. Oh my gosh, Geraldine, Ontario with -25, wind chill of -30. No, thank you. Can't do that. That's a bit much. Okay, so let me see here. Let me just get to where I can see. Okay. Thank you so much for being here, Careblazers. I'm very excited. This is the second time I've ever done a live hangout like this where I teach a class and then I open it up for questions for you. So the main topic of today's class is on dementia caregiver stress. And it's a topic that's really important to me because I know how stressful it is to care for somebody with dementia. Even in the best of situations, it is a really stressful situation. And so I wanted to share today just about things that you could do to help your situation and help you manage some of that difficult stress, okay? So my goal for you today is for you to take away some practical, real things that you can apply to your life. So I'm going to switch the screen. You're going to see a presentation. So my face is going to go away, but my screen is going to be there and you're still going to hear me talking. It's still me doing the presentation. And then when I'm done teaching the class, I'm going to take those screens away and then I'm going to be answering your questions. So I can see what you're doing over there in the chat. I'm going to answer them and I'm excited to do that. Guinness is scratching at the door to get in right now because he's usually with me under my desk and I must have locked him out. So hang on. Come on, buddy. Come on. Okay, all is well. Guinness is in the room. We can officially start the webinar. Okay, so let me share my slides with you. Okay, I hope Careblazers, you can see this. Let me know if for some reason you do not see the slides or you don't see them advancing. So right now, what we're going to do is we are going to I want to take a moment to encourage you to get rid of as many distractions as you can. I understand that that's life and you have a lot going on. I am very appreciative that you're here. I want you to get the most that you can out of this webinar. So grab a notebook, grab a pen, piece of paper, your favorite beverage. I've got my beverage right now with me out of my Careblazer Strong coffee mug, and I'm excited to get started, okay? So today what we're going to talk about the negative effects of stress. I'm going to share with you 3 ways that you can start taking better care of yourself without any extra time, money, or paid help. So at the end of this class, you are going to be able to start using these 3 things for your life right now. And the cool thing about it is that even though this is a class on self-care, it's also a class that's going to help you see improvements in your loved one with dementia. A lot of times our stress gets transferred over into our loved one with dementia. And so by taking time to do things to help manage your stress, you're also going to hopefully see a reduction in your loved one's difficult behaviors, or at least where the behaviors don't last as long. That is why you taking care of yourself is actually one of the best things you could do for your loved one with dementia. I am going to get to your live questions. So at the end of this class, I am going to answer the questions that you're writing off to the side. And for those of you who stay on this webinar, I'm going to email all of you a care sheet with over 80 self-care ideas, right? So you'll get that in your inbox at the email address that you use to register for this event. Now, let's talk about this. So you cannot wait until you absolutely cannot take any more to start doing self-care. This is what a lot of you do. A lot of you email me. This is something that really pulls on my heartstrings in terms of how much stress you're feeling and how many of you feel that you're at the end of your rope. In fact, I got an email about an hour ago from one of you who used those exact words, I am at the end of my rope. It's hard, I get it, but let me ask you this question. So if you, Careblazer, were going to go to the doctor and get an appointment, would you rather be seen by a doctor who was taking time to sleep and eat right and do things they enjoyed and talk to friends that they enjoyed? Would you prefer to be doing that with somebody? Or would you prefer to go to the doctor who isn't sleeping, isn't eating right, isn't doing the things that they want to do because they're so busy taking care of all their patients? Which doctor do you think is actually giving the best self-care, right? I'm guessing it's the doctor who's actually taking time for care. So sometimes when we're caring for people with dementia, we feel like we cannot take time for self-care because we're caring for our loved one with dementia. But the truth of the matter is you provide better care when you're actually taking time to care for yourself. You are a better caregiver for your loved one with dementia. I'm just going to stop here and go back because I want to make sure I'm seeing your comments, and I'm not right now. All right, full tank, doctor. That's right, Barbara. That's great. Okay, wonderful. So yes, you want to go to the doctor who has a full tank. Absolutely. You want to be caring for your loved one with dementia with a full tank. Now, is your tank going to be full forever and always 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? No, nobody's tank is always full. But you've got to notice when that needle starts to go toward that empty sign, you got to say, whoa, 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 now's the time. I'm getting half empty here. Like, how can I fill my tank? That's what we want to do. Also, there seems to be this misconception out there that self-care is like a special occasion, that self-care is something that you do when you have a full day or when there's a holiday or when it's your birthday, right? Well, that's just not the case. As we're going to talk about, one of the tips I'm going to share with you today of the 3 tips is that self-care isn't a special occasion. Self-care is something that you do every day. You find a way to weave this into your life every single day. And we'll talk about how that's possible without needing a whole bunch of time. How many of you are guilty of this, that you feel like unless you have a full day or a half day, or unless you're leaving the house or doing an event or it's a special occasion, that self-care is not something you really think of, right? So this is one of those myths about self-care, just as some other myths are that there is no time, right? That you need extra money for self-care. There's so many things you can do for self-care that do not require extra money, that do not require extra time. Also, it doesn't require extra paid help. It would be wonderful. I wish that all of you had so much help. I wish that all of you had the ability to have good care in the home that didn't rely only on you. But I know from talking to a lot of you that that's just not reality, and that's just not the case. Much of the care is on you. For a lot of you, you're the only one doing the care, right? Sometimes people think self-care is a luxury, that it's not a necessity. And so today I'm hoping to bust through all those myths. If any of these things sound familiar to you, that these are things that you have told yourself in the past, today we are going to bust through them. Now, unfortunately, being a dementia caregiver comes with a lot of risks. I do not have to tell this to you. I'm sure that many of you feel this right now. These things, feeling alone, feeling anxious, tired, sick. Some of you are angry that you're in this position, maybe even resentful of your loved one or a family who's not stepping up to the plate, right? These are feelings that many dementia caregivers are experiencing. This is not an easy thing that you're doing. And I want to try to find ways to make this a bit more bearable for you, and so you don't lose everything that you enjoy, that you don't feel this way forever. I believe it's possible that you don't have to feel these things while you're caring for somebody with dementia. So here's my question to you, Careblazer. Has the quality of your life suffered since you started caring for your loved one with dementia? Be honest. Has your health suffered since caring for your loved one with dementia? Have you either gained a bunch of weight because you're not eating healthy, or you're stress eating, or you've lost a lot of weight because you just can't find the time to eat, or you don't feel like eating? What about your relationships, the relationships with your good friends, with family members, relationship with your spouse or with your partner, right? Have those relationships suffered since you've started caring for your loved one with dementia? Your mood? How has that changed since caring for your loved one with dementia, right? A lot of times we start to notice that our quality of life, your quality of life, has gone downhill as you take so much time and energy to improve the quality of life for your loved one. So here's what I want to ask you right now. You can see this screen. You can see that there is a scale from 1 to 10. I want you to answer honestly, truthfully, right now on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being absolutely no stress at all. You feel as good as you could ever feel. And 10 being extreme stress. You could not imagine feeling any more stress than you feel right now. And 5 being smack dab in the middle. Where do you fall on this scale? What is your stress level right now? And I'm just going to take a peek and see what some of you are saying. I'm seeing a 7. Yep, absolutely. An 8. Yeah, it's hard work caring for a loved one with dementia. 9, 5, 7, 7. Hi, Keith. Keith is one of my Careblazers who has been in my care course, and he's working through the modules and pretty much my star student. And Debbie, Evelyn, 7. I'm seeing a lot of 7s to 9s. 6 today, Colleen. Yeah, you say 6 today. I'm glad you say that. Our stress levels change. Ron, a 4, that's wonderful. I'm glad you're feeling that way right now. Stress levels change. They don't always stay the same. One day you could be a 4, the next day you can be an 8, and they fluctuate. When your stress level stays above a 5 for a lengthy period of time, that starts to become a concern, right? And we want to do things about it. And what I'm hoping is that some of the things we do today will be able to help lower that score. Okay, so I want to give, for those of you who don't know me, I think most of you know me because you're here and you've probably found me on YouTube. But just in case you don't, I'm a geropsychologist, which means I'm a clinical psychologist. I have my doctorate degree in clinical psychology, and I specialize in geriatrics. So I got board certified in geriatrics, and my main focus is dementia. And the way that I got started is that I started working at a clinic where I would diagnose people with dementia. So family members would bring their loved ones in, they'd notice something was going on, things aren't quite right. I'd work on a big team of medical professionals and healthcare professionals. We'd do our whole assessment, and then we would sit around the table and we'd share the news with family members that, hey, your loved one has dementia. This is what it means. Here's, the geriatrician would prescribe a medication, and then we'd pretty much send them on their way. And as I continued going along in my career, I thought, oh my gosh, this is awful. We're pretty much diagnosing people with one of the most difficult diseases to care for ever, and we're completely ignoring the family. We're completely ignoring the caregivers. And at most, if we're not ignoring the caregivers, what we're doing is we're saying, oh, hey, here's a support group, or come back and attend an appointment, and I'll talk about it with you some more. And if there's anybody who doesn't have the time to get to support groups and appointments, it's caregivers, right? Even those who really want to, I encourage all of you to get involved with them if you can, but it's challenging because you're often at home caring for your loved one with dementia who can't be left alone. And so I thought there has to be a better way. I'm helping just a handful of people every day at the hospital, and there are millions and millions of people out there in this position. How can I start to help them? So, and I was talking to caregivers who feel alone. They were thinking they were the only ones going through what they're going through. They were thinking their loved ones with dementia were crazy and purposely trying to drive them crazy, and all these experiences. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, every day I'm talking to people who are feeling this way. How can I connect them? How can I put them together? So what I did is I started Careblazers, me and Guinness. Guinness right now is at my feet under this desk. He is 15 years old, and he helps me as I sit here in my office, and I decided to start Careblazers. I started it by just posting videos online, just answering questions that I get every day in my practice. And it turns out you guys are responding, you guys seem to like it, and you guys are submitting your own questions. So now I'm basically answering your questions through video format, and I'm just excited to be able to offer this way of providing information. So, as you know, if you've watched many of my videos, caring for somebody with dementia comes with a lot of risks. Dementia caregivers are at higher stress for clinical depression, clinical anxiety disorders. Unfortunately, you're at higher risk for dementia yourself, heart disease, sleep difficulties, and difficulty with relationships with others. I'm sure that many of you are probably already experiencing some of these things. And so we have to figure out what can we do to help reduce some of that stress. Well, first of all, it's important before we get into things that you could do to reduce stress, it's important for you to know that stress is a normal part of life, right? Even for people who are not caring for somebody with dementia, they experience stress. Everyone experiences stress, and it's not always a bad thing. So how you manage stress and how you think about stress matters. What research has found out is that if you believe that all stress is bad, then you're at high risk to develop many of those negative side effects I just talked about: depression, anxiety, heart disease, sleep difficulties, right? But if you believe that stress is a normal part of life, your risk of experiencing negative health effects is lower. Now, I want to point out, we're not changing anything about your stressful situation except for the fact that your mindset around your situation changes. Like your mindset right now, instead of thinking, this is awful, my life is horrible, I can't believe I'm in this situation, this is so stressful, I shouldn't have to be feeling this way or dealing with this. If those are the thoughts that are going through your mind right now, those are the thoughts that are going to lead to a lot of those negative effects, right? But if your thoughts are more like, this is a really difficult situation, I wouldn't wish this on anybody, but I understand that this is what I'm dealing with right now in my life, and I'm going to try to get through it as best as I can. If your thoughts are more aligned with that way of thinking, a lot of those negative effects start to reduce, they start to lower. And it's all about mindset. Careblazer, your thoughts matter. What goes through your mind matters. And so it's important that you're paying attention to some of those things that are going through your mind. There will be difficult times. There have already been difficult times. If you're sitting here watching this presentation right now, that tells me you're in difficult times right now, right? So we've got to learn how to make sure we don't make our difficult times any more difficult than they have to. So here's something that a lot of people have an issue with. So when some things in life aren't going well in life, we tend to think everything isn't going well in life, right? So when some things aren't going well, we sometimes feel like it overshadows our whole life. Nothing is going well. But Careblazer, there are more things in your life than just being a caregiver. And if you feel like that's not true, that your whole life is caregiving, then this class is really important for you because you are more than a caregiver, right? There are more things in life going on. So you do caregive, but you also have friends and you have activities that you do and you have family members and you have finances and you have help, right? So all of those things in life, right? There doesn't necessarily mean because one of those areas is bad that all of those areas are bad. We have to be balanced in our thinking. And it's really easy that when one area of life is going bad, that it feels like all areas in life are going bad. Similarly, in terms of you being a caregiver, right? You're a spouse, you're a caregiver, you're a friend, you're a coworker, you're a hiker, you're a neighbor, right? There are so many things beyond being a caregiver that we have to be balanced in our thinking. Maybe the caregiving situation isn't going as well as you would like, but what about your friendship situation, your spouse situation, your hiking situation, your coworker situation, your neighbor situation? And if all of those things are feeling like they're suffering, we've got to start taking action. So when you can't control what's happening, you have to challenge yourself to control the way you respond to what's happening. So here's the truth, Careblazer. We cannot control the fact that your loved one has dementia, right? Your loved one has dementia right now, and there's nothing we can do about that. However, we can control how you're going to respond to that. We can control how you're responding to your caregiving situation. And a lot of times when caregivers respond to situations in ways that make things worse. And I do not want that for you, right? So let's get to our first tip, the first caregiver stress tip. So here we are, we're focusing on how you're responding to events. And this busts the myth that you need a full day or a special occasion to do self-care. I want to challenge each and every one of you to enjoy the mini moments. I want you to rethink what you think self-care looks like. There are things that you are doing in your life every single day that could be to your advantage, that you could use to help you feel better. So for example, if you are taking a shower, right? You're taking a shower, but notice the way that water feels on your body. Maybe notice the smell of the soap or body wash. Feel the water on your body or the washcloth on your body, right? It's about staying in the present moment and enjoying the many moments that occur. So many times we are in a situation and we ruin that situation because we're so busy worrying and focusing about something else. How many of you have been in a situation, even today, where you're either showering, getting dressed, making breakfast, eating breakfast, and rather than really staying focused in that moment, you are worried about what's going to happen next, what you have to do that day. And worrying does nothing. That doesn't help you, Careblazer. It doesn't help your situation at all. It makes your situation a lot worse, right? So right now, whatever you're doing, that is all that you are doing. You cannot do anything else. So right now in this presentation, listen to the presentation, enjoy the presentation, hear the words, notice the way you're feeling and the thoughts that are going through your mind. Right now, you're not anywhere else, so just focus on where you are right now. Another example is driving. How many of you drive during your day and are frustrated because maybe you're sitting in traffic or you're trying to rush to get to your next place? When that is an opportunity for you to take advantage of that mini moment, take advantage of the moment that you're driving and notice maybe the sun through the windshield or the song on the radio or feeling the steering wheel underneath your hands. This is a very, very simple concept, but it's a difficult one for many people because they just feel like, well, what is this really going to matter? Well, what's it really going to matter? It's going to matter a lot. And it's going to make you feel a lot better than sitting there stressing and worrying about something that right now isn't even happening or you can't do anything about. Right? When you're eating food, notice the food, smell the food, take time to taste the food, notice the colors, the textures, the temperatures, rather than just scarfing down whatever's in front of you without really taking note of what you're doing. This is where a lot of our binge eating comes in, right? So don't let your mind wander to the future. Don't constantly review what's gone on in the past. Stay in the present moment and take advantage of those mini moments, right? If you're washing the dishes, take advantage of feeling the warm water underneath your hands. If you're on the phone, really pay attention to what that person on the other end is saying. Excess stress is a choice. Don't choose it. Right, Careblazer, you're in a stressful situation. There's no getting around it. We've talked about that, right? It is stressful. It is challenging. It's a part of your life right now. Don't make it any harder on yourself. Do what you can to try to enjoy the moments that you have, or at least not make them any worse. Another thing is gratitude. There's research that shows when you practice gratitude, you feel better. Now, a lot of times caregivers will say, well, what do I have to be grateful for? I'm caring for somebody all by myself. I'm stressed. I'm losing money. My health has gotten bad, right? Soon as you get into that spiral of thinking, you're setting yourself up for more negative health effects. It goes back to the research study about how you think about stress matters, right? Your thoughts matter. Your thoughts are what creates your mood, right? So if you were to just practice every day a little bit of being grateful for things, you might find that you start to feel better. So what are you grateful for right now, Careblazer, right? I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for you being willing to care for your loved one with dementia. I'm grateful for you being here right now. I'm grateful that, Guinness is in the room right now. I'm grateful that there's sunshine, that I had coffee this morning. There's no shortage of things that you can be grateful for. Don't get stuck in the mindset, right, that just because this one area of your life or several areas of your life aren't going right or aren't going well, that you can't be grateful for things. What are you grateful for? Take note of it and make it a practice every day to write down what you're grateful for, or at least think in your mind, take a moment to say, right now, I'm grateful for the fact that my loved one just smiled at me, or that I just talked on the phone to a friend, or that there's such a thing as the internet where I can connect with people and receive help and support whenever I need to, right? Don't get caught up into thinking that just because things aren't going well, nothing's going well. And let's talk about guilt, because this is something many of you talk to me about and you write to me about. So a lot of times when it comes to self-care, taking time to do things you enjoy, people feel guilty. You feel guilty. How could you possibly take the time to do something you want when your loved one with dementia is at home? What would people think? How are you going to live with yourself? Is it selfish of yourself? Right? And this is a question I want you to ask yourself whenever you get caught up in the guilt trap. What would you tell a good friend in your exact situation? If you had a good friend in your situation right now, somebody you loved deeply and you cared about deeply, and they were in your caregiving situation, what would you tell them if they were thinking about doing something nice for themselves? If they were trying to focus on self-care, would you tell them, you are a selfish person, you shouldn't do anything for yourself that's nice because you're caring for somebody with dementia? Would you say that? Or would you say something that more like, you need to take care of yourself. You are important. If you want to continue being around to take care for your loved one with dementia, you have to take the time to care for yourself too. A lot of times people think self-care is all about the self, right? But it's really more than just the self. It's going to improve your loved one with dementia. It's going to make it so that you have more patience when you're dealing with the difficulties of your loved one with dementia. It's going to make it so that when your loved one with dementia does something really difficult, you're going to be able to respond more calmly and more clearly. And that's going to help calm your loved one down quicker. right? Again, it gets back to that question about, do you want a doctor that's not taking any time for self-care because he's working 12 hours a day, patients back to back, to be able to see and do as much help to his patients as possible? He's probably not going to be the greatest doctor, right? It's probably going to be the doctor who is taking time for himself, who's going to be able to provide the best care. That's the same thing for you. Sometimes we're able to see the best course of action and do the best thing when we take ourselves out of the equation. When we start to think about other people, we can start giving ourselves the best advice. So what would you tell a good friend in your exact situation? Oftentimes, that's exactly the advice and recommendation you should take for yourself. So this is what I did, Careblazer. Some of you on here know this. Some of you have been in my care class and are in my care class now. I'm doing a care class live, but I actually have a course. I created a course, and what I do is I take you through the caregiving journey. I hold your hand. I walk you through those difficult moments. I talk about understanding the positive and negative effects about stress. I talk about how you can prevent stress in your life from getting out of hand, about how you can take charge of your situation, even though you're caring for a loved one with dementia. I help you identify what you do have control over and how to use that to your advantage. I talk about the importance of your thoughts and how you can change your thoughts. Careblazer, your thoughts are what creates your mood. No situation creates your mood, even though that's what a lot of people think. So I break this down and I talk about it in terms of how you can start to make your mind something that works for you and not against you. I'm going to bust through some myths, kind of like what we did today, just more in depth. I'm going to talk about the things that are stopping you from taking better care of yourself, and we're going to problem solve how you can get around it. I'm going to talk about how to get over that fear and all of your concerns about, oh my gosh, what are other people going to think of me? What is my family, friends, neighbors, coworkers, what would they think of me if I started to take more time for myself? I'm going to go over specific tools you can do to help take better care of yourself. And I'm going to help you when you have to make really difficult decisions, right? You have to make difficult decisions all the time. Like, should your loved one keep driving? Should you take over their finances? Do you have to place them in a higher level of care, like a nursing home or assisted living facility, right? So I developed a full course going through all of these things. And the cool thing about it is that I'm there with you every step of the way, answering your questions live. I'm about to get to your questions live here in just a moment. We're almost done with this class portion. Here's the deal, Careblazer. Here's what I want to ask you. Where will your health be if you kept doing exactly what you were doing without changing anything? Right now, if you continue doing exactly what you're doing, if you continued living your life exactly the way that you're living your life without changing anything, where are you going to be in a year from now? And 5 years from now? Where is your health going to be in a year from now? How about your relationships with other people, right? If the picture doesn't look good, if it's looking pretty grim, it's time that we intervene and step in and do something about this. So I created a course, and if you're interested in taking a step further in your self-care, if you're interested in working with me further, this is the only way pretty much to work with me on a live basis like this. I'm about to get to your live questions. I do this every now and then, but the course is the consistent way to get this from me. So if you're somebody who feels drained, beaten, and alone, if you feel like your whole life revolves around only dementia, that your health has gotten worse since you're caring for your loved one with dementia, that your relationship with friends and family has suffered, that you've stopped doing activities that you used to enjoy, that your sleep has suffered, you're staying up all night, you're worrying a lot of times, you may be a really good fit for this course that I'm going to offer. However, you are not a good fit. I do not want you to join this course if you think the only way to change your situation is for your loved one with dementia to change. If you think you shouldn't have to change anything about what you're doing, you are not a good fit for this course. If you already know everything you need to know about dementia, if you already know everything you need to know about dealing with stress, this is not a great course for you. And if you think that by signing up for this course that you are never going to feel stressed again, it's not a good course for you. And finally, if you are in a lot of financial strain, this is not a good course for you, right? This is going to be a paid course. I'm about to get to the price here in a minute because it's my time. I join you live and I answer your questions live consistently for weeks at a time. And I do not want this to be a strain for you. I want this to be a help for you. I will continue to be posting my weekly live videos on YouTube. Those are free for you forever, right? I have a Careblazer community on Facebook that is free for you, right? So those are ways that you can continue to get help. However, what I have put together is a course with 9 video lessons by me. The only way to access these videos is through this course. And I have care sheets that go along with each of those courses. I also have a private Facebook group that's only for course members. So the cool thing about this Facebook group, it's only for people who are willing to start valuing themselves, start, taking the steps necessary to improve their self-care. A lot of times people just like to feel like there's nothing they can do. Right? And they complain a lot and they talk about the struggles, but they're not making any change. This group is all about the people who are ready to make that change and take that step. And I am in there with you. I am in there live. I'm doing at least 6 live videos, question and answer sessions, your questions about your specific situation. I'm in there answering them for you. I also have a nutrition course from a nutritionist where you get to learn about a healthy diet. You go through meal planning. You talk about how specific foods that are going to help you with your health, with your brain function, with your gut function. So if you're feeling like nutrition has been a struggle for you, this is a great course. It's a bonus to this course. I also have a friend who put together a relaxation audio script for you to be able to listen and go through to help with your stress. And finally, you have lifetime access. So with every new course I do, you will get access to it all. So you have it forever. It never goes away. And every time I do an upgrade or a benefit, you get all of that as well. So if a new bonus comes along, you get that bonus as well. So as far as the value of all of these things, my course is valued at $299. My Facebook group is valued at $200. The nutrition course, my friend sells for $29. I think it should be more like $129. It's really great. I went through it. A relaxation audio for $15 and lifetime access for $1,000. But you know, Careblazer, I would never charge you guys that much. I cannot do that. The value is over $1,000. It's over $1,500. But I'm going to give it to you for $197, right? So if you feel like this is something that you want to do, and I'm going to get to your questions here in just a minute, I want you to consider signing up. And for those of you who sign up while we're on this webinar, I'm going to throw in this free Careblazer Strong mug. I sent these out to everybody in my last course. But I'm only going to send them out to the people who purchased during this webinar. It's a pretty hefty cup. You'll see me drinking out of it here in a second when I go on screen. One of the Careblazers who was in my course said, these mugs are big enough that I can have my chicken soup out of. So it's a pretty hefty mug. So I really want to reward action takers. I really want to reward people who are ready to start making change in their life, who are ready to start feeling better about their life, right? My hope for you is that you are going to be half as good at caring for yourself as you are at caring for your loved one. And by doing so, everything's going to get better. Your care for your loved one's going to get better. The care for yourself is going to get better. So 2018 care group members, some of them have written to me as we've gone through the course. One of them, Keith, this might be you here. He says, Natalie, I have to tell you, that was your best video ever for me. You understand all the aspects, good and bad, so refreshing. You get it better than anyone I know. This is in response to one of my lives. So I do live Q&As frequently through the course for course members only. And that was what he emailed me after that course. Another one, this is from one of the care members who lives in Malaysia, actually, wrote in and said, listening to our Facebook lives gives me solace as you understand what Careblazers go through. I'm glad I signed up for your course, as even my siblings do not understand what Careblazers go through. And then finally, here's an email I received from one of the group members who was in this course. So this is the second time I'm offering this course. So from the first time around, He writes in, after going through the course, about the 3 things he vows to do this year. He vows to take better care of himself. He vows to take better care of his loved one with dementia by observing, listening, comforting them, instead of reacting to every one of their behaviors, and to have confidence in my abilities to not let outside opinions pull me down. That's amazing, right? And obviously, to keep contributing to the Careblazer family. It's been his best discovery of 2018. I want these to be you. So really quick, I'm going to get to your live questions, but I want to answer any of these questions if you have them. So if you're feeling you need help with your loved one with dementia, not with yourself, how can this course help you? Here's the deal, Careblazer. In this course, as you learn how to deal with your self-care, you are going to be taking better care of your loved one with dementia. And by doing so, your loved one with dementia is going to not have as many outbursts. If they do have outbursts, they're not going to last as long. And finally, even if nothing changes, you are going to be able to respond to them better so they don't keep bringing you down. Right? So I do believe that this course will help your loved one, just like the doctor who takes care of himself gives better care to the person who's going in for treatment, right? So your stress is caused by your loved one with dementia. How in this world is this course going to help you if you can't change your loved one with dementia? Well, as I mentioned earlier, Careblazer, we often cannot control situations. There are many things in life, as much as we hate it, we do not have control over them, but we always have control over our reactions. We always have control over our thoughts. And since our thoughts create our mood, which I talk about more in my course, we're going to learn how you can start taking control of your thoughts and how that is going to help improve things. Okay. If you do not have extra time or money to invest in self-care, I already gave you a little sneak peek. Nothing about my course has anything to do with you needing more money or you needing more time for self-care, right? You are going to be able to take advantage of what we go over without extra time, without needing extra money for care and help. Also, if you do not have other people around you to support you, you are all alone in caring for your loved one with dementia. That is even more reason why it's important to take care of yourself. You could be caring for your loved one with dementia for decades. Some people are caring for loved ones with dementia for 10, 11, 12 years, right? So it's important that we find ways to help manage your care and to help respond to those difficult behaviors your loved one's having. And in those lives, you can bring up those questions, specific challenges that you're having, and I will answer them for you. If you don't live with your loved one with dementia, that's okay. We had people in our course whose loved ones were in nursing homes, people in our course who lived with their loved ones. This is helpful throughout any of the stage of caring. And then finally, the Facebook Lives. The Facebook Lives are in a private group only for course members, which means that they are there for you forever. I announce when I'm going live. If you cannot attend it, you submit your question to me ahead of time and I answer it live. And you can go back and watch it whenever you have time. And then finally, is there a money back guarantee? Careblazer, no. There is not a money back guarantee, and let me tell you why. In my experience of working with caregivers, dementia caregivers in particular, I know that the number one thing that you sacrifice when push comes to shove is yourself. The number one thing you put on the back burner is yourself. I cannot let you do that. I don't want you to do that. Careblazer, I believe full-heartedly with all my heart that this course can help you. And if you are in my course right now and you are watching this, feel free to comment and let people know what you thought about the course. Let them know if you thought this course was helpful for you and you got your value out of this course. If you have any questions, email me, support@careblazers.com. I'm about to take the screen away and answer your questions live. Yay! And remember, as we're on here, those of you who purchase, I'll send you out a free Careblazer mug right away once this course is done. And I'm excited. So here we go. Can you guys see me now? I think my slides are gone. You should be able to see me. And okay, yes. Hi, I am back. So, oh, wow. See, Bath, 21 years caring for your loved one with dementia. Yeah, it's getting worse later on hospice now. It's hard, right? Caring for somebody with dementia can be, first of all, a lot of times people ask me like, how long is my loved one going to live? Or how long are they going to have this? And, you have dementia. Once you get dementia, they have that disease until they die. And there's no way to really know how long your loved one's going to live. There are some signs to look for, but people can live with dementia for 1 year. And just as C. Bath was saying, you can live with dementia for 21 years. So if you're feeling like your life has taken a big hit and you just cannot fathom living the way you are for another 5 years, then we have to make a change, right? I want you to make a change. So if you have questions, start writing them below. I'm going to start scrolling and looking at your questions. In the meantime, I'm going to take a sip of water. I don't know if you guys can see this. This is my Careblazer Strong mug. It's got a little yellow on the inside. And this is what I'll be sending for those of you who purchase while we're on the webinar to just kind of reward the people who know this is what they need. Also, just so you know, the actual course, when my course opens and you get all the videos, it's going to open on Monday, 1 week from today on the 28th. I want everybody to start at the same time. So you'll get access to the Facebook group right away, but the actual course will start next Monday. It is a big mug, Poppy. I have this thing. I love coffee. I drink tea too. I actually have water in this right now because I'm coffeeed out. But it's big, and I love big coffee mugs. And the cool thing is whether you're right-handed, as I am, or whether you're left-handed, you can still see the Careblazer Strong mug. That is what you are, Careblazer. All right. So let me see. I'm going to go through some questions here. Feel free to keep. Yes, Geraldine, if you purchase on this webinar today, I will send it to Canada. So I don't do this often, and it's, because it's quite an ordeal sending it. I actually sent one of these to Malaysia about a month ago, so I will do that. EWJ try. Yes, of course we send to Canada. Okay. Okay, here's the deal. Power of attorney. Let me get back. C. Bath, I think you were saying. I'm going back. If we go to the link now, will we still watch this class? Oh, I sure hope so. You should be able to. You can always come back to the link. Just click the same link that you got in the email. We have so many questions. Lee says, ask your questions away. I'm going through. Hello, hello, hello. My aunt does not have power of attorney. She lives by herself. She will not let anyone help her. She is getting worse, and I think she really needs more help. Any suggestions? Kathy, yes, I have suggestions for you. My suggestions for you, I have several. So power of attorney, for those of you who are not familiar, there's a medical power of attorney and a healthcare power of attorney. I always recommend everybody have a power of attorney, even us, you watching me right now, I recommend we have power of attorneys. A power of attorney is a document that states when you are no longer able to manage your finances, if it's a financial power of attorney, or when you are no longer able to manage your medical situation, make medical decisions for medical power of attorney, you have identified a person to make those decisions for you, to step in and intervene on your behalf, right? So it's a great thing to have. It does not give permission for people to just start making decisions for you. There has to be a determination that says, okay, right now this power of attorney is in effect. So a lot of times people think because they're power of attorney, they can just automatically start making these decisions. It's not the case. There's a kind of complicated system that's involved where somebody like a healthcare provider says, yes, this power of attorney is in effect. You can start making decisions for your loved one with dementia. It's a great thing to have. But at some point, if you wait too long and let's say the dementia has progressed or the person with dementia doesn't believe they need help, you're probably not going to get them to sign a power of attorney, right? So some of the ways to help somebody who doesn't want help is, number one, don't ask to offer them help. Just do it. And you want to offer help in a way that doesn't highlight or call attention to the fact that you're giving help. A lot of times if you try to help somebody with dementia who doesn't believe they need help, they'll get upset and angry and frustrated with you. And so you just want to offer the help. You want to just stop by the house and say, hey, I was in the neighborhood. I picked up lunch. I'm starving. I got lunch for you too. or just stop by and mow the lawn or pick up the groceries, or just start doing the things. Do not highlight the fact that you are helping them. Oftentimes that can be helpful. Also, if you're seriously concerned about somebody with dementia, maybe they're living alone, they're refusing all help, and you're worried about their safety, you can contact your local area agency on aging and make a report. That's pretty extreme. But for the extreme cases, if your loved one is somebody whose safety is at really big risk and they're not accepting help, you can Google local area agency on aging and make a report. It's called an Adult Protective Services report, and you can make that report. But really, a lot of Careblazers have a lot of success with just doing the thing. Don't call attention to the fact that you're helping, make up an excuse for why you're in the area, or just supply the help. Sometimes even if you're having people come in the home, like let's say you have a friend who's going to try helping out, or you're going to hire paid help, don't call it help. Call it a friend, a visitor stopping by, just visiting, right? A lot of times people will enjoy somebody coming by and just talking to them. And while you're there just talking to your mother, while you're there just talking to the person with dementia, you happen to load the dishwasher or throw away the spoiled food in the refrigerator or get a load of laundry going, right? You just do these things. But it's very rare that the person is just going to say, yeah, do all of these things for me and help me, because a lot of times they don't believe they need that help. Let's see, husband has beginning signs 21 years ago being verbally mean. Now he's calmer and asked hospice nurse, when am I going to die? Oh, it's hard. Sometimes dementia can be a strange thing. So when people initially get dementia, and first of all, everybody who has dementia, they don't all act the same. They don't all progress the same way. There are many different types of dementia, and there are different stages of dementia. So no one way, there's not one right way to respond to everything. And that's why the live Q&As that I do inside my course are really important, because we get to know the specific factors. What situation are you in? What's going on? What specifically is your loved one doing? What have you tried? Okay, now let's try this, right? So it's a lot of problem solving, creative problem solving. But a lot of times people in dementia, even the ones who are really aggressive or agitated, might say mean things. As people start to decline and the dementia gets worse, and you're mentioning that your loved one's on hospice, right? So hospice means that a medical professional has estimated your loved one has 6 months or less to live. Now, medical professionals aren't the greatest at guessing, but that's the legal definition of hospice. Means somebody is guessing, or their medical opinion is that your loved one has 6 months or less to live. When somebody's progressing and they get to that stage, it means things are shutting down. Their energy is really low. So a lot of the aggressive behaviors start to go away. A lot of times they just don't have that energy to be able to say those things anymore or to do those things anymore. Towards the end of dementia, people start to lose their ability to use a lot of their words. And it's quite a bit of energy to put words together. So what you might be noticing there is that your husband is starting to decline to the point where a lot of those behaviors are going away because he's getting further along in the disease process. We just moved my mother-in-law in with us and our 16-year-old daughter. We find ourselves so worried that we do everything right for her. It's causing me anxiety. Heather, the fact that you are even watching this live class, the fact that you're even writing that question tells me you're doing a great job. This is hard stuff. There is no one right way. There's no way to do it. Don't put that pressure on yourself. Don't give yourself that guilt. The best thing that you can do is just to try your best. And a lot of times, Careblazer, you don't know what the best thing is until you do it. And then you see how your loved one with dementia responds, and then you adjust. So give yourself credit. Take it easy on yourself. If you've just moved your mother-in-law in with you and she has dementia, you're in for a journey. You're in for some challenges. Don't make it any harder on yourself. You're doing great. You're trying to learn. You're trying to get as much information as you can. And that's the best thing you can do. There is no one guide. There's no handbook you can open up and say, oh, she's doing this, I do this. She's doing this, I do this. It doesn't exist, right? You're figuring it out as you go. Be easy on yourself. And if you haven't downloaded, I do have a survival guide. It's for free. If you haven't downloaded it, you can go to my website, careblazers.com. Just click the download button. I'll send you my Careblazer survival guide completely free. And it will help you, give you some general tips and overarching like strategies. But be mindful of your thoughts. Like, Heather, your thoughts are telling me right now, you're really hard on yourself and you're going to make your situation a lot worse. Do the best you can. Take it day by day. Learn as much as you can about it. Even for your 16-year-old daughter, she might be experiencing some of the same struggles or wondering why in the world, you know, her grandma is acting a certain way. Just educate yourself as much as possible. Try the best you can and continue to move forward. Tomorrow's a new day. Hang on. I'm going through the questions here, Careblazers. Feel free to keep asking. Okay, Heather. Along with the anxiety, any tips on helping 16-year-old daughter to use patience with grandma? Grandma asks a lot of questions and always wants to help. Yeah, so I mean, you can show your 16-year-old daughter some of the my videos on YouTube. That might be helpful. But here's my best tip. If you have somebody with dementia who's really wanting to help, and sometimes that kind of gets in the way, or it's kind of frustrating, or you might lose your patience because your person with dementia isn't really able to help you. In fact, when they help, it kind of creates more problems. Come up with something they can do. What that's telling me is that your mom is looking for something to do. It's important for everybody to feel cared for and loved and to feel worthwhile. So find something for her. And here's the trick. It does not have to be something you actually need help with. Save all the junk mail and give it to your mom and ask her to sort through the coupons, or give her a bunch of socks that are not paired and ask her to pair them, or give her some old silverware with a dry cloth and ask her to rub them, right? The key is finding an activity that would take up your mom's interest, that would take up time, that you don't actually rely on, that you don't actually need her to accomplish in the right way. But it makes your mom feel useful. It directs some of her anxious energy, and it doesn't get in the way of you trying to do what you're trying to do. So she's not actually helping you anymore. So be creative in coming up with things that you can have your mom do. Right? And remember, it doesn't actually have to be something that you want your mom to do. It just has to be something that it takes up your mom's interest. Will your course be offered again? We are traveling with my mom for February. So the next time this course will be offered won't be until the fall or winter. But here's the thing, Careblazer. If you are thinking you want to do this course, but you have a lot going on in life, I will tell you, you will always have a lot going on in your life. There will always be a reason why it's not a good time. This course is available to you forever. So if you purchase today, you will have access to this course whenever life slows down for you, whenever that might be. And by joining today, you get all of those bonuses. I don't know what I'm going to offer in the fall or winter. It depends who wants to collaborate, what I can find, and what kind of bonuses there will be. You will get all of those bonuses in addition to everything today. So if you're on the edge and you're just thinking it's a busy time of life, you can watch these videos at any time. You can go back and watch the Facebook Lives at any time. So it's on your own pace. I realize life is stressful. There's a lot of things that get in the way. So it's a self-paced course. You do it as you have the time. Let's see. Okay, Susan, what's the best way to handle my husband who gets very focused on things that question me constantly whenever we're by to go somewhere? I get so frustrated. Okay, it sounds like your husband it questions you a lot and it gets you frustrated. Okay, here's a general tip for a lot of situations. So in dementia, the brain is not working the right way. The way that we would respond to somebody without dementia is not the same way we would respond to somebody with dementia. You are literally learning a whole new language, a whole new way to interact with somebody who has dementia. So if my husband right now, who doesn't have dementia, was questioning me constantly, I would try to rationalize with him and reason with him. And I would say, this is why I'm doing it, X, Y, and Z, right? But your husband has dementia. So if you're trying to rationalize with them, it's probably not going really well. In fact, that's kind of one of the cardinal rules. We don't want to argue with somebody who has dementia. We don't really want to try to reason with them many times. We don't want to try to rationalize with them. It kind of goes over their head, or it might make them more upset. And you're just going around in a circle, no matter how much you try to explain it. Your loved one doesn't care, doesn't believe you, or is still questioning, and it drives you crazy, right? So try to just focus to get away from the idea that you have to answer the question exactly as he asked it. So if he's asking you a question like, why are we going in this direction? You don't have to say, we're going in this direction because that's where the store is, right? And then he might question further. You can say something like, oh, this looks like a nice way to turn. Look at that tree. The sky is beautiful. I just thought this would be a nice way to go. What do you think? You know, like you could just open up a conversation. Avoid getting into the argument. Like avoid just trying to give a blanket rationale of why you're doing what you're doing and why it's the right way. You can lead it on into a conversation. And the other thing, Careblazers, pay attention to the emotion. If your husband's getting frustrated as he's asking you the questions, just say to him, I could tell you're really frustrated right now. I'm sorry. I don't want you to be frustrated. I really wish it was different for you. And start to move the conversation in that way. So when you pay attention to the emotion rather than the words, it kind of diffuses the situation. It's kind of hard for somebody to be upset with, get more upset with you when you're acknowledging that they're upset. So these are the kind of techniques that we can talk about further in my course, but get away from the idea that you have to answer the question exactly as they asked it. You want to try to find a way to respond. Seems like you're really upset right now. I'm so sorry. I don't like being upset either. And then redirect them. You want to redirect them with getting them involved in an activity that they like, getting them on a new topic of conversation, maybe offering them a snack, but you don't want to belabor the point, because the more you stick to the point, the more you continue to try to answer the question in different ways, with rational ways, the more you're going down a rabbit hole and you're going to be frustrated. So how do you refocus when your loved one wants to leave the house? When somebody's wanting to leave the house, wandering. I have a video on this as well on YouTube. If you go to Careblazers YouTube and you type in like Careblazers and wandering, you can find some information. But to me, your loved one has some energy. Your loved one has some anxiety. Your loved one wants to do something. So you have to get creative and find, what can you do to help get rid of some of this energy from your loved one? What can they do during the day? If if in a daycare center, like an adult day healthcare center is an option, that might be a really great option for your loved one to get engaged with. If going for a walk with your loved one is an option, exercise, that's really great to kind of help tire your loved one out and get them to use some of that energy. If your loved one's in a wheelchair, you can push them. Just kind of getting out in fresh air is great, but also thinking of what you can do to keep your loved one's attention in the home. Right? Sometimes people want to leave, or they talk a lot about, I want to go home, I want to go home, when in fact they are at home. But the dementia, the memories start to fade away to the point where your loved one's living so far in their past that their home and where they want to go is something from a long time ago, their home in the past. And in those situations, it's okay to say, tell me about your home. What do you like about it? What do you miss about it? Describe it, right? Don't be afraid of opening up those conversations and reminiscing, right? Because the more you say, you are at home, this is your home. You can try that, absolutely. And if it works, it's perfect. But sometimes it doesn't help detract them. And so you want to find out, what are they missing about that home? What do they like about that home? What are they describing about that home? Pay close attention, and then find a way to incorporate that in the home that you have now, right? So if your loved one all of a sudden started talking about the garden that they had, well, then that might be a cue. Maybe you could get your loved one a tomato plant and you guys can care for that together in the home. Actually, I'm sidetracking here, but there's research that shows as simply as caring for a plant for somebody with dementia, you guys doing that activity together, that can really help improve your loved one with dementia's behavior and mood. It really helps them to feel like they have something to care for, and it's an activity both of you can do forever. But whenever I hear somebody's wandering and trying to get away, number one, we've got to find a way to redirect their energy, get them involved in something. Sitting around watching TV all day is not going to be the answer. So I have a video on YouTube too on fun activities you can do with your loved one with dementia from your home. So that might be something you want to check out. Whether it's chair exercises, following an exercise on TV, again, modified for somebody with dementia. They could be sitting in the chair, doing a game together, going for a walk together. Those are some ideas that you can try out. Oh, okay, Susan, I'm just rereading your question. It sounds like your husband is questioning you whenever you're about to go somewhere, so he has anxiety about leaving. Just respond to that anxiety. Tell him it's going to be okay. You know, you're going to be fine. I'm going to be here with you every step of the way. We're going to get through this. Yes, CBAF POA has saved you so much work and stress. Yeah, loved one, Careblazers, if your loved ones do not have a power of attorney and they are not too far along in the dementia process, maybe they're in the mild stages, even early moderate stages, see about getting that power of attorney. It can save you a lot of headache down the road. Yes, is there such a, okay, Lee says, your mom seems to get more confused at a certain time of day. A lot of times people with dementia have sundowning. They get more confused in the nighttime. When you think about it, the brain with dementia is at reduced capacity. They tend to be better earlier in the day for most people with dementia. As the day goes on, the brain gets more and more tired. The brain starts to shut down more and more. And as the nighttime comes along, they start to have more problems. They might start seeing things. They might start getting more agitated. So you want to try to schedule any big events, any of the tasks earlier in the day for your loved one with dementia. You want to make sure as the sun goes down that the home has some lights in it. A lot of times when the home is dark, as the sun goes down and we don't turn on lights, that can add more confusion to your loved one with dementia. And those can be helpful things. And if you go to YouTube, my YouTube channel, Careblazers, and in the search function of the Careblazers YouTube page, type in sundowning. I have a whole video on how to respond to sundowning. But basically, the brain is shutting down as the night goes on, or as the day goes on. It's getting more and more tired. And it's okay for your loved one to nap a little bit during the day. That can help refuel them and recharge them. You just want to prevent your loved one from napping for way too long during the day. If your loved one's sleeping hours and hours and hours during the day, that's not really great. They're at risk to reverse their nights and days, and it starts to lead to a whole lot more problems. But some naps are okay to help the brain kind of recover a little bit so the sundowning doesn't get too bad at night. Mary Hill. Oh, hi, Mary. I highly recommend this class. I suggest you try to do it in the weekly doses she recommends. It will help you take in the information better. Thank you, Mary. Mary is one of the Careblazers who joined my course this first time round. She's one of the original founding members of the course. You're such a great Careblazer. I really appreciate your activity in the group. And what she says is to do it in doses. I do recommend doing it in doses. I release all the materials to you starting next Monday, but I don't want you to race through the material. I want you to take it lesson by lesson, 1 week at a time, listen to it and try to implement it. Here's a good way to think about it. My course is going to be as good to you as that treadmill that's hanging out in the corner of your house. It only works when you use it, right? So the materials in the course, I don't want you to rush through and just listen to it. You have the materials forever, so there is no rush to go through it. But if you just watch one video a week, take the strategies I talk about, implement them into your life, that will be helpful. Mary, I think you're the person who said my Careblazer mug was big enough for chicken soup, if I remember correctly. So, but thank you for being part of the original Careblazers. Yeah. Is it a good idea to remind your mom she has dementia? When she's very angry, she can't remember things. Oh my gosh, this is a great question. All right, hang on. Okay, no. The short answer to that question is no. Think about it, Careblazer. Why do you want to remind your loved one they have dementia? You want to remind your loved one they have dementia because They're asking questions and they're getting frustrated that they're no longer able to do things. Their license has been taken away. You're helping with their finances. Reminding them they have dementia, your hope is that your loved one will be like, oh, okay, I'm all of a sudden okay that I can't drive anymore because I have this disease, or I'm all of a sudden okay that I don't have complete control over my finances because I have a disease. The brain doesn't work that way. They don't just have that aha click moment. In fact, if you're constantly reminding your loved one they have dementia, it usually makes them feel a lot worse. It's either going to make them feel horrible, sad, frustrated, depressed, or it's going to make them very angry, because there's such a thing in dementia called anosognosia. It looks like denial. A lot of times Careblazers are like, why is my loved one in denial that they have dementia? The brain, there's actually a disconnect. The brain is not able to understand that they have these deficits. To your loved one with dementia, for many of you, they actually do not understand that they have these challenges. The brain will not connect it no matter how many times you try to explain it. It goes back to the cardinal rules. Do not try to reason with them. Do not try to rationalize with them, right? For most people, it's in the very early mild stages, it could be different. But reminding your loved one they have dementia is either going to make them really angry and frustrated. They're not going to believe you. It's going to make them really sad. So when she's really angry that she can't drive, you can say, I'm so sorry, Mom. I know it must be hard for you not to drive. Or you can just, as much as possible, try to remove the stimulus for driving. If the car keys are kept out and she's constantly seeing them, that's a trigger for her to think about driving. Put them somewhere she can't see. If it's something, for some people, coming up with something and saying the car's broke right now, it doesn't really work, right? Or it needs repairs. That works for some people. For some people, you can just say, Mom, I love chauffeuring you around. You've driven your whole life. I want to repay this forward for you, right? You have to get kind of creative in how you respond. And the way you respond is going to be based on what you know about your mom's personality, what you think she would respond to best. Would she respond best by you saying you want to care for her now and you want to be her chauffeur and she should live like a queen? Would she respond best by you saying, the car doesn't work right now or it needs some repairs? Would she respond best by you just saying, I'm so sorry. I know that it must be hard for you no longer to drive. I wish it wasn't that way, right? Notice how you still acknowledge how she feels without getting into the rationalization, without getting into the, well, you can't drive, Mom. Remember, you have dementia. Remember, the doctor said this, right? That's not to say it's not for everybody. Maybe some people with dementia would say, okay. But in my experience with working with Careblazers over the years and what they've told me is that that's usually not the best approach. Do not remind your loved one they have dementia. Okay. Yes, Mary, great. So I provide downloaded teaching sheets. I call them Care Sheets. They go along with every single lesson, and you plan to go back and look at the downloaded teaching sheets so that you can continue to learn and change your behavior and thinking. That's just it. This is lifelong, Careblazer. There's nothing about a one-time class or a 9-week course that's going to change everything for the rest of your life. You have to keep practicing it, and sometimes you need a reminder. And sometimes you can just step back and you feel like you're doing pretty well and you don't need much extra support or much extra learning. And then when you notice your fuel tank getting a little empty, when you notice your stress levels increasing, that's your cue, and that's a little time to say, oh, I think it's time for me to go back and refresh. And you get to choose. Like if there was a video that was particularly more useful for you or helped you the most, you get to go back and just click and watch that video. You can do it as you wish. As you go through for the first time, though, I do recommend going in order and taking your time. Mom is doing things and saying things she would never do. Do we just let it go, which is okay, but we just want to make sure we're doing the right thing with your mom? Okay, hang on. Here's a rule of thumb about whether or not it's a good idea to correct your loved one. Your loved one with dementia is probably going to say a lot of things that aren't true, are probably going to do a lot of things that aren't correct or aren't the right way, right? Let it be. You are going to have so many challenges down this road that you don't even know about yet. I'm sure you've already experienced things that you never thought you would have to experience before, right? So let some of the small things go. Here's the rule of thumb. If it's not causing harm to your loved one with dementia and it's not causing harm to somebody else, let it go. If there's no safety risk at all, let it go. It's okay that she did something wrong, or she put on 2 different socks, or that her shirt and pants don't match, or that she said she went to work yesterday even though she's been retired for 20 years, right? There's no harm in that. It's okay to say, okay. It's okay to just let it go. If you are somebody who's correcting your loved one a whole lot, you are starting to set yourself up for your loved one with dementia resenting you. And when your loved one with dementia starts to resent you, they start to resist your care. And that makes your life a whole lot more difficult. And that's why focusing on a course of self-care is very important and will start to have good effects on your loved one's behavior, right? So let it go. If there's no safety risk involved, Careblazer, let your loved one do and say it. Now, people around you might look at you with the eyebrow up and say, wow, what did she just say? You know, that doesn't make much sense. Your concern is not what other people think. If it really does bother you, you can write up a little card and you can just say, my loved one has dementia. It sometimes causes them to say and do things that are unpredictable. Thank you for understanding. Pass it along as you walk on by. If it's something you're really worried about, you can let people know that way. But overall, just keep on moving. Embrace the calmness. Yes, please do. Any suggestions to help 102-year-old women sleep at night? No meds because falling risk. Yeah, so when it comes to dementia, the primary way to respond is not with medication. It's through behaviors. And when it comes to dementia, we have to change our behaviors. We can't expect our loved one with dementia to change. If our loved ones with dementia were able to change, they would just change already, right? We would just say, hey, don't do that, do this. And then there would be no need for you to be on this class right now. It doesn't work that way though. So we have to change. Medications are there for a reason. If you've tried all the behavioral things possible and you've tweaked and you've worked, you know, trying your different approaches and they don't work, by all means, go talk to your loved one's doctor and see what medications might be helpful. When it comes to sleep, you just want to make sure your loved one's actually being engaged during the day and make sure they're not sleeping too much at night. You know, I'm not sure in your specific situation, Marty, but what is she doing during the day? How is she using her time? Not only physically, but mentally too. You know, getting your loved one involved in something that stimulates them physically and mentally is important to help the sleep at night. Your mom has a hard time putting words into sentences. What's happening to her? Dementia affects language. In fact, dementia affects attention, planning, organization, being able to understand words, being able to speak words, being able to walk, being able to do movements. It's not just memory. Dementia affects the entire brain. Depending on the dementia, it's certain, you know, parts of the brain more than others, depending on the severity, but language is most certainly affected in dementia. Kit, you're trying to follow my advice, not challenging your wife's delusions, hallucinations. However, she's constantly seeing people who are not there saying negative things about us at her group home. Okay, so if she is seeing things that aren't there, that's a hallucination. It's a visual hallucination. And you're not going to be able to change that. There are some medications that can help with that. But that's not always, like I just said, the first line treatment. If your loved one's having a visual hallucination, seeing things that aren't there, redirect them. It's okay to say, oh, okay, here, would you mind coming and helping me with this? Or here, let's have a snack. You just redirect them and move them to a different situation. As far as her saying things that are negative about you at the group home, Careblazer, unfortunately, that's part of what happens in this disease. If anybody has ever worked with somebody who has dementia, right? Like me, group home staff, people in assisted living facility, nursing homes, doctors, healthcare providers, we are used to hearing these things. Like your loved one with dementia a lot of times says really nasty things or mean things about you because they see you as somebody getting in their way. They see you as somebody sometimes treating them like a baby, giving them more help than they need, intruding on their independence. So that's why they're saying those things. They don't understand that you're there helping them. And that's one of the hard things about being a caregiver. You're sacrificing a lot of time, money, and energy, and they don't appreciate it many times because they don't understand it. So that's why you have to surround yourself with support from other people who understand what you're going through. Surround yourself with support from other Careblazers. Join the free Facebook Careblazer community. Join this class where you learn the course where you learn how to respond specifically to these events. Surround yourself with other Careblazers who are not only caring for a loved one with dementia, but are doing everything in their possible power to improve their situation. And just be confident that you're doing what's right. And here's another way to think about it. Kit, I don't know if you have children or not, but as parents, sometimes you have to put boundaries up for your kids. Sometimes your kid might want to stay up till 2 a.m. in the morning, eating nothing but junk food, but they have school the next day, and you have to say no. And in that moment, your child will be upset with you and won't be happy with you, but you did the right thing for that child. It's a little more difficult when we're talking about dementia because we're talking about an adult. And it's hard to wrap our minds around that, but you have to know you're doing the right thing. You're taking the best interest of your loved one with dementia, and that's why you're doing what you're doing. But that sometimes means they're going to say things that are hurtful and that aren't true. But rest assured, you're doing the right thing. That's part of the harsh side effects that come with caring for somebody with dementia. And as you learn to change your approach, as you learn how to help without being obvious that you're helping, as you learn to respond and talk without trying to argue or reason or correct your loved one, sometimes you might find your loved one stop saying those things because they don't have the feeling that you're trying to intrude on their life. They have the feeling that you're just having a conversation with them. You're treating them like a normal human being. So I'm going to try to answer a couple more questions here. We've been going for 1 hour and 18 minutes. I do want to answer as many of these as I can. Just know when this is closed, the offer for the Careblazer mug is off the table. Try asking them a question about something. Yes. See, Mary, I love you, Mary. One of my Careblazers offering help to people in this group. Thank you so much. That's what I love about you, Careblazers. You have an amazing heart. Help one another. Surround yourself with people like this. Surround yourself with other Careblazers who want to support and lift each other up and just acknowledge when things are hard and they don't go well to say, I'm sorry that happened, but you're doing a great job. Gerald Lind, you've learned not to ask why. Yes, do not. Don't ask why. A lot of times the response might not make much sense anyway, and it doesn't help fix the issue, right? It doesn't help change anything about what the issue is. Oh, for the wandering, your neighbor got a huge stop sign and put it at the front door, and it worked for a while. Yes. So sometimes what people do, if there's exits, like exit-seeking behavior, trying to go for the door, trying to leave, you could put locks at the very top of the door, on the very bottom of the door, so it's out of sight, so that if your loved one tries to open it, you kind of call it dementia-proof. In fact, there's a free handout I did called Dementia-Proofing Your Home. If you go to my YouTube channel and look on how dementia-proofing, search dementia-proofing, my video will come up and there's a link. You can download how to dementia-proof your home. But sometimes having locks out of the line of sight can be helpful. Putting curtains in front of doors or windows. And then knowing that as the disease progresses, you might have to adjust and change the way that you're handling the situation. Just because something's working right now doesn't mean it'll work forever. And just because something isn't working right now doesn't mean it won't work later, right? It works both ways. As the disease progresses, Careblazer, you also have to progress and change your approach. Thank you for sharing that. Okay. My mom is very angry at my brother and not sure why. I know it's not good to correct or argue with her, but do we continue to let her believe what's not true? Here's the thing, Lee says. She's going to continue to believe what she believes no matter how much you try to correct her. Now, you could just respond to her and say, I'm so sorry. I know he loves you very much. I know he supports you very much. right? You could say things like that about your brother that are kind of nice and kind for your mom to hear, but you're not trying to argue with her. You're not trying to correct her. Your statement tells me that there's a belief that you have that by correcting her, somehow it's going to change her mind. That's a faulty assumption. That's a false belief. Let's see. Denise, your loved one wants to go back home. He grew up to the home he grew up on a daily basis. That's pretty common. So just open up a conversation. Tell me about your home. What did you do there? Open up that conversation about how he wants to go back home. And you don't have to get pressured into saying, well, you know, explaining why he can't go back there. You might even be able to pull up pictures from his home from back in the day. I don't know, like on Google Images, or if he has old pictures, you can bring them out and do reminiscence. Like reminiscence is actually a good thing for people with dementia. It helps their mood, helps them go down the track. A lot of times Careblazers are afraid of maybe trying that approach, but I would encourage you to try it. It will get him talking about it, reminiscing, and get him stop focus on the I gotta go. But if you haven't watched the video on, it's called Dementia and I Want to Go Home, Google that in the YouTube search bar for me and you'll see my video pop up to go over specific other ways that you can respond to that. Okay. Mugalisha, perfect. She says her father sees gnats crawling. She just goes and pretends she's stomping on them. He says things. I don't see him anymore. Perfect. You joined your loved one's world. That's the best way to approach people who have dementia. You joined your loved one's world. Okay. So you have to see it from their point of view. From your point of view, you're looking around here like, there are no bugs crawling anywhere. What are you talking about? If you have that response, your loved one with dementia is going to get more and more anxious. They're here, right? But what Mugalisha did is she took that risk. She joined her dad's world, and she just stomped on them, and it calmed him. Perfect, right? A lot of time, visual hallucinations can happen in any kind of dementia, but they especially happen in Lewy body dementia, especially with the whole insects. Let's see here. Colleen, welcome to the course, my friend. I'm excited that you're here. Next Monday is the first day of the whole launch of the course. I'm very excited. Congratulations on taking this step for your self-care. I know that this is going to be helpful for you. I know this is going to help your stress levels, and I'm excited to connect you with other people who've made that choice. Less is more. Okay, when I try to give too many details, I see that blank look and realize he's done listening. Less is more with him. It's hard. Yes. The simpler your response, the better. The simpler you can respond, the better. With dementia, the brain has a really hard time sometimes processing information in language. So you want it to be as short as possible. Short and sweet. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, see, Beth, the course is not live. I have 9 videos that are pre-recorded. They have 9 care sheets with each video. You watch them at your leisure. I do live. So if any of you are enjoying this right here, I take a little bit more in depth with in the course, like answering questions and asking for your feedback and situation, and we'll go back and forth for a little bit. But I do lives like this in my course. But I always announce them ahead of time, and I say, send me your questions. If you can't be there, I'll answer them online during the live, and you can go back and watch it when you're ready. Oh, one of the most frustrating things is that others don't see how advanced he is. Socially, the change isn't as pronounced. Functionally at home, it's a whole different thing. Oh my gosh, Geraldine, you're right. Careblazer, if you're on this, watching this, that means you're likely doing most of the caregiving, right? You're the one doing all of that caregiving work. So you're the one who sees the challenges. a lot of times it's really easy for people with dementia to fool other people, especially if it's like for a 15, 20-minute doctor's appointment or if it's a phone call. So then you have family members calling saying, your mom seems just fine. I don't know what you're making the big fuss of, or, dad was able to have a decent conversation. Are you sure you really need to be, are you sure he can't manage his finances? Are you sure he doesn't need to drive? And it really starts to tear apart family members, right? But you have to have confidence. You are the one who is caring for your loved one day in and day out. You see them more than others. In my course, I have a whole lesson on what to do when others do not get it. And believe me, I'm sure you know there are a lot of people who do not get it. That's okay. You do what's right for you. You do what's right for your loved one with dementia. And we can talk about some mindset shifts around what those other people think. And remember what I talked about in the class I just taught. What would you tell a really good friend in this situation, right? So it's easy for people to kind of get through little bitty moments, but it's hard when you're day in and day out, you're going to see those limitations and functional impairments. So other people may not be seeing it. And if they're really giving you a hard time, tell them to come live with you for a bit and your loved one with dementia, and then they'll really get it. But yeah, I get it that it's frustrating. That's why it's really important that you get support that you need and surround yourself with other Careblazers. Deborah J, I've been paying the bills, lately mom has been taking them, and I spend more time finding them. How do I take them away from her without making her mad? So this is this kind of gets back at the point of helping your loved one with dementia without them knowing you're helping. As much as possible, if electronic payment, like just auto debit, electronic payment, and stop being the paper bills from coming to the home, that just removes it altogether. That would be my big recommendation for that. You don't want to take them away. You don't want to highlight the fact that you're taking them away. You don't want to highlight the fact that she can't do this anymore. But if she's being triggered by seeing the bills sent to the home, you can either have the bills routed to another mailbox, a P.O. box, or just stop paper statements, have them auto debited. Oh my gosh, Seabath, you went to a caregiver course and the teacher started out saying, this group has the worst caregivers. We were shocked. Then she said we were all horrible at taking care of ourselves. Yeah, you guys, well, I wouldn't say you're horrible caregivers, but I would say it's really hard. Dementia caregivers, your hearts are so big. You want to do such a good job caring for your loved ones with dementia that you sometimes forget about yourself. And then that means you're not as great of a caregiver. There's like a whole shift we have to do in terms of, wait a minute, if I feel better, I'm going to do better. I'm going to take better care of my loved one. I'm going to respond better. I'm not going to get as frustrated as easily, right? I'm sure all of you know that when you're having a bad day and you're getting frustrated, you don't function as well. You might be a little bit more short with people. You don't think as clearly, right? All right, let's see. I'll take a couple more questions. Then I'm going to have to go. I'm really enjoying these questions, Careblazers. Thank you for participating. Let's see. Not sure if I even had an account. I need help signing into your account, please. Oh, okay. For those of you who have signed up on this course, you will get your Careblazer mug. Here's the way it works. When you sign up and you pay and you get it, a picture, like a screen pops up and it has you type in like your name, your account, your password. If for some reason you missed it or it didn't pop up for you, no fear. What you do is you go to careblazers.com. On the very top right-hand corner, you want to go to products. And then you can click on products and it can say, forgot my password, that you forgot your password. And then just click on that link. It'll email you the email address that you used to sign up for the course, type in a new password, and then you can get in that way. And you can even have it saved there in the future so you never have to enter it again. But that should work for you. I had to reset password. Not sure if I even had an account anyway. Oh, what's happening here? Can you guys still hear me or see me? My screen went black. So Colleen, I think you are definitely into the course. Eric, can you tell me if I'm still on? Okay. Careblazers, my screen is all black. I do not know what's going on. I think these are the technology gods. Okay, so I'm on, but I can't read your questions. I can't read your questions at all. Colleen, I know for sure you paid for your course. CBATH, I would have to go in and check. I'll do it right now after I restart my computer. I hate to end like this, but I cannot see anything, even though you can see me. Careblazer, thank you for joining me today. Thank you for taking care of your loved one with dementia. My YouTube videos are still there. They're free. Watch them. I hope you find them helpful. I have a Careblazer community on Facebook where you can connect with other Careblazers. For those of you in my course, I look forward to getting to know you on a more personal level. I look forward to being able to answer your questions. And you will get a link and some emails coming in the coming days on how to join everything. I know that you might have a lot of questions right now about how this works. Deep breath. Let's stay in the present moment. I'm going to walk you through the whole process. It's okay. I'm going to hold your hand through this whole process. I'm going to be here with you through this whole process. You'll be getting some emails. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me. And the official course with all the videos will be next Monday, will be the first day that you'll get them, okay? So thank you, Careblazers, for being here. I'm very honored that you trust me and that you listen. You care to even listen to anything I have to say. I'm very humbled by this experience. I am wishing you all the best of luck. And remember, don't forget 3 things you can do to help your caregiver stress levels right now. Enjoy the mini moments. What little things are going on in your day right now that you can just simply enjoy? Be in the present moment. Don't let your mind wander too far in the future or too far in the back. And number 3, gratitude. What are you grateful for? Take notice of it. Every day there's something to be grateful for, no matter how difficult or stressful your situation is in. And by all means, if you're feeling super guilty or you're not quite sure what to do, step back and ask yourself what you would ask a really good friend who is in the same situation. Okay? Careblazer, thank you so much. Bye.